is S Comic Maker, and it is that time of the month, my friends. Time for another graphic novel review. This month's book, we're kind of taking a blast to the past and looking at a series that I reviewed a little over 2 years ago now. Can't believe it's been that long. In fact, my second graphic novel review was The Teadragon Society by Katie O'Neill. So when Oni Press reached out to me asking if I would review their next Teadragon book, The Teadragonfestival, I could not refuse. I am a big Katie O'Neill fan and own, as you know, The Teadragon Society, but also Princess Ever After and Aquacorn Cove. As stated in my last review, Katie's art is just a dream and absolutely beautiful. If you want to hear me gush about her art, I'll leave an iCard here where you can watch my previous video. Keep in mind, it's about 2 years old, the camera is old, I sound super stiff, and this, me talking to you right now, hello, me, doesn't exist yet. But if this review has you curious about the other book and you want to know what I think, then I think it's worth a look. I mean, I'm not even there, and I'm like the backbone of this whole channel. I mean, really. Well, Banana Man, you might not have been there then, but you were always right here, right in my heart. But this comic maker. Alright, let's move on to the plot. So, the Teadragonfestival is actually a prequel to the Teadragon Society, so if you were worried about spoilers, you can really start either book first and would still have a great experience. We meet Rin, who one day stumbles across a dragon named Aiden. I hope that's right. I mean, a lot of the names are written very interesting, but they all seem like very normal names, and so I believe that this character's name is Aiden. Anyway, Rin finds Aiden, and Aiden has been sleeping in the woods for 80 years and doesn't know how. While Rin's uncle Eric and partner Ezekiel are visiting the village, they decide to check out what could be causing people to fall asleep in the woods for that long. What's interesting about this book is that Ezekiel and Eric are actually characters from the first book, where they are much older and have retired from adventuring. I thought this was super interesting, and I was very excited to read about them in their younger days. Besides this, there are some subplots about Rin learning to cook, but mostly this book feels like you are taking a peek into this world, which felt very similar to the first book, despite this one being twice the page size. I honestly felt like I had dived back into this world quietly and was watching Somewhere in the Woods, like a creep. I'm just kidding. But honestly, this book and a lot of Katie's books are much more about spending time with the characters and the world that they live in rather than some epic tale. There are action elements in this, but it isn't what the whole story's about. This is honestly just a world where tea dragons exist, and in the village where Rin lives, they celebrate the dragons for the gift of delicious tea that they give them. Ah, the art. If you've seen my previous review on the Teadragon Society, the Teadragonfestival, as I said, is no different. This world is just absolutely gorgeous. I said it then, and I'll say it again. I am just so insanely jealous of Katie's art. Her color story is just so cohesive, and she has an incredible ability to create characters that you want to spend time with. She barely uses line work, and when she does, the lines are like a darker version of the colors around it, creating this like soft storybook feel that feels fantastic and whimsical. The scenery as well. Oh my god. Most scenes have these gorgeous plants, flowers, and trees that are just so bright and beautiful. There are even simple scenes where like plants will peek out from the corners of the panels, and you can just tell that these characters care for this home and nature loves them back in return. You know those really nice quiet scenes in Studio Ghibli movies where like the wind blows and characters are like looking out over the landscape? This entire book feels just like that. Oh, you know what time it is. It's spoiler time. If you'd like to... Oh, look, a flower! So pretty. Oh my god, a dragon! With little plants on its head. Oh, it smells so nice. Like a nice warm tea. Oh wait, right, spoilers. They're honestly isn't really anything for me to say about spoilers here. The book really doesn't have like an epic storyline that builds up. There are resolutions to like the mysterious thing that made Aiden fall asleep for so long, and there's also a conclusion to Rin's decision about learning to become a chef. But honestly, these just feel like a natural part of the story, and I almost feel like I'm sharing a friend's story that they might want to tell you themselves. So I honestly say that if you want to know, that you should pick up the book yourself. I loved this book, where I felt like I was wanting more with the Tea Dragon Society and thought that I was really only getting a taste of the world. I felt much more satisfied with the Tea Dragon Festival. At the beginning of this book, Eric and Hezekiel get off a train and visit home, and at the end, they get back on to continue their adventure. And I honestly felt like I joined them. I came for a vacation to this village, enjoyed my stay, and then went home, which is what I wish a lot of books would feel more like. I absolutely want to visit again and hope that Oni Press and Katie O'Neill continue to bring us stories from this world. There is actually a card game of the Tea Dragon Society and a board game of the Aquacorn Cove that I definitely want to pick up now that I've seen the little bit about them in the back of the book. I would absolutely recommend this book for anyone. I believe any artist would love looking at these beautiful pages, and the story had representation of LGBT characters and also represents sign language with links to resources in the back of the book, which I thought was a lovely touch. I think the only ones who wouldn't be into something like this are people who find Ghibli movies a little too slow and boring, or people who like stories with a lot more action. For the art this week, I really wanted to capture one of my favorite scenes where Rin and Aiden go looking for Goat's Horn, and Aiden flies Rin over grassy fields. There are beautiful scenes of the mountains and landscapes here, and I just loved this part so much. I really struggled with getting to the end of this drawing actually. First, I was just gonna sketch my idea on my computer, but ended up really liking the sketch and didn't want to redo it, so it stinks that I didn't end up recording it. But then I tried to use this transfer paper I have to trace the image onto my sketchbook, but the lines ended up being so thick, and I moved the paper accidentally without realizing because the tape had come up and I messed it all up. So I tried erasing it and it didn't work. So I tried doing this drawing on cardstock paper by tracing my image with my light box, which I spent forever trying to find the plug to. Then when I finally started coloring, I realized that the paper just took so many layers of Copics to get a flat color that I was afraid I wouldn't be able to color in the sky without it being super streaky. So instead, I decided to represent the sky by picking colors that match the scene and making these little polka dots. It isn't exactly what I wanted, but I think it will do for this one. But that's it for me this week, guys. As always, thank you to all of my amazing patrons who make videos like this possible, and thank you all for liking, commenting, and sharing my videos. Before I end this, I'll leave you guys with a quote from Aiden the dragon in the story that really stuck with me. Rin was talking about the fact that they find it easy to gather food from nature, and Aiden says, "Just because something comes easily to you does not mean it has no value. You find it effortless because you love it, and that's why it's your gift." I just thought that it was a really lovely quote that can apply to a lot of people in a lot of different situations. Anyway, thank you all so much for stopping by, and I hope that we can draw together again soon. Bye, guys.